Alrighty guys, hello and welcome back to Chair League. I am your host Jason here for another Division 2 match. We got Reborn Knights versus volumeZERO, joined once again here by Ice Fox. How's it going, Ice Fox? Thanks for joining me.
I'm alright. Glad to be here. A little bit tired. It's pretty late for me. But I gotta see this, man. Gotta cast it with you.
Yep, burning the midnight oils here. We got one more get in here for volumeZERO, so we're just about ready to get started. First Hollow is going to be our first map here. We've actually seen...
Popular pick.
Yeah. Up with Subway Slayer. There we go. That looks better.
This is supposed to be a 2 out of 3, though, isn't it?
This is. It's the best 2 out of 3 match here in Division 2. So both these teams opting in time this week for that best 2 out of 3. We have Reborn Knights ready to go.
More games, more practice, more tension.
Yeah. More to cast, more to love. It's more everything.
Except depression.
Well, I mean, if you lose both games, I suppose. All right, looks like everybody's ready. Let's get in. Cursed Hollow. Gonna be our first of this best of 3 series here. Division 2. What do you prioritize here for these first bands, Ice Fox?
Dahaka.
Yeah. Dahaka.
Or tennis. Any 3 of those is a good priority, but probably Dahaka on this map mostly. He's got the wave clear, he's got the camp taking, he's got the mobility. He does it all.
Sounds pretty legit. It looks like Ragnaros is going to be the first potential hovered ban here for the side of Reborn Knights, which makes sense. I think we got Ragnaros a couple times on Wednesday night, and it worked out pretty well for us. So hard to argue with that.
Just sulfurous smash right in their face.
Right in the face. It really does hurt.
Unfortunately, I can't actually see the hovers this time. So you're the one with control over that.
Me and the stream in general are very glad for it too, I'll tell you.
Yeah, it's probably better you than me.
So nothing being hovered thus far for volumeZERO, at least from what I can see. They are thinking about this Artanis ban long and hard.
I see Tassadar.
Oh, okay. Well, maybe I can see the left and you can see the right.
I don't know. Maybe that's why I was on the right side of the spectator and you're on the left side.
Hey, I like that. That could be it.
Hey, the Tassadar though.
Hey.
Pretty interesting to first ban him, but I guess if you don't want to play against Tassvala or Tass Tracer or something.
He's really good on this map. First and foremost, for the extra sustainability that he can give when going for these tributes. He's also got decent wave clear for being able to split push and possibly be a solo laner on this big map. And he's also got good interrupt potential for these tributes. So overall, I think Tassadar, pretty good ban. It does leave Artanis wide open here for the side of Reborn Knights and Dahaka. So they've got a couple of really good heroes to choose from. And volumeZERO, not exactly slouching in this draft phase either, because now they get whichever of those OP heroes that Reborn Knights decide not to pick. They're instead going to go Rhaegar, so leaving Dahaka and Artanis open here. Very interesting.
Yeah, I guess if you really didn't want to lose Rhaegar, but it doesn't seem worth the first pick, especially now on this map.
Yeah,
a smaller map where you're going to intentionally try and fight a lot, maybe, but this big, huge map, I'm not sure.
I would agree. I mean, in general, Rhaegar, not the best sustained healer. He's got decent, what I would think of as AoE burst, and of course with Ancestral, after 10, he can get really good single target burst out on somebody, but I don't know that really plays super well.
Grant us strength.
And right away, volumeZERO showing us exactly why this is their map pick. I think they had a clear plan going into this draft. Malfurion going to be the pickup here, along with ETC. 2 very strong heroes for the map. ETC pretty decent at being able to be in to harass and CC It's also a good combo with Malfurion. You got double CC there, but Malfurion is one of the best in the game at being able to stall out objectives like the Tribute.
And ETC also provides the stage dive more than likely, unless they decide to go mosh pit. But stage dive is the more common pick usually.
Yeah, but it also does add that element of needing to counter mosh pit. At this point, Reborn Knights have to start thinking about picking mosh pit counters. And we actually saw this a little bit from Reborn Knights, foreshadowing material here as a Sanctification Bloodlust comp is what they went with last week. So, kind of seeing that already coming out. Zarya also pretty strong with that general idea. So, not being too subtle about it. They're going with what brought him to the dance here, Icefox.
Yeah, my only problem with that is ETC with Mosh Pit could become quite dangerous then if they don't get off sync or their repulsion field in time.
Yeah, Expulsion Zone can be really strong here, especially on this map where bosses are such a priority. Holy Ground at level 16, Sanctification on those points, and Expulsion Zone to be able to zone people off of these boss points could end up being a really big factor here.
Not only that, it's a really small, like, narrow corridor map turn, so those abilities will also lock people in really well if they don't want to keep them away.
Right, the excellent zoning tools to either be able to keep them away or to be able to box them in for sure. Greymane will be a very interesting ban here. I kind of see it a little bit from the side of volumeZERO. Greymane, one of those heroes that we would see often put into a Tyrael, Sanctification, Uther, Divine Shield kind of comp, be able to enable him. I think those have kind of fallen by the wayside since Greymane's been kind of nerfed into the ground, but I can see where they're going with that ban. It does make some sense.
It does make some sense, but if they're going with the Bloodlust because they have Rhaegar and he's not a great healer for Greymane, I don't think the synergy is completely there.
They're going to choose to hover the Kael'thas here. Pretty decent ban. Kael'thas has pretty good poke, also good AoE potential, so if...
What just happened?
I don't know. Malfurion tried to jump there for a second. He got in his DeLorean and he got really close to going the right speed there. Trying to jump time, but he ended up going right back to where he was. Kael'thas is the ban out here. If they are planning on trying to pre-stack for these Sanctifications, I think taking Kael'thas out, not a bad option.
Tychus Sonya is a pretty strong pickup as far as the Tychus goes. I'm still not completely sold on the Sonyas that have been picking up recently, but...
Yeah, a little buff to that Whirlwind self-healing. I don't know if it's enough to really re-legitimize her. My argument lately has always been, if you have the opportunity to pick a Varian, why would you rather have Sonya over the Varian? But, you know, again, it's something I'm willing to be convinced on. I would say, especially early game, Sonya, much better at taking camps. This is a very camp-driven map where you want to be able to time those camps precisely to be able to push against the lanes farthest away from the map objective to be able to stall those out. And they have a decent poke stall comp right now as well. So they may be able to take advantage of Sonya's jungle ability.
That is a very good option for them. Picking up the Artanis finally. He went really far into this draft.
Very. As did Vala. So this is going to be sort of a pseudo power and Vala comp and totally a Bloodlust comp. This, again, they're not being subtle about it. This is classic Bloodlust style that they're going with here for the side of Reborn Knights.
You think maybe the Sonya forgot Artanis was open since by this point, and they're just like, let's pick up Sonya, or do they think they intentionally strayed away from Artanis?
An interesting question. I think what's really interesting about this is the possible AoE potential of the heroics from volumeZERO. If Sonya decides to go leap, it could be a possible setup for Mosh Pit. Sanctification can blow that wide open, but in general, Reborn Knights with this Bloodlust comp are going to be looking to stack for both Sanctification and Bloodlust. So it does give the opportunity for Sonya to get better AoE, leaps to be able to get those AoE stuns, etc., possibly get those mosh pits. And what do they really have for counter to those mosh pits? Sanctification, Expulsion Zone, I suppose, and Reign of Vengeance. That's really not a whole lot.
Yeah, and they're really lacking on the CC front, but they're probably just going to hope that they don't get hit by it at this point. I don't think they were playing against it for now.
Yeah, but I can see leap into mosh into ring, and it could be a real problem if that Sanctification doesn't come out just right for the side of Reborn Knights. They got to be really careful here. The
real question is, will Sync even be able to kind of defeat if Mouth just walks in Twilights?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's another part of the Wombo combo. Tychus can also choose to go Odin here, be able to lay down a lot of quick and efficient AoE damage with that ultimate. So it could be the Wombo versus the Wombo here. It's whose Wombo's gonna win here.
I'd usually err on the side of the CC Wombo, but we will definitely have to see.
Is that SpongeBob reference? Wombology? Wombo?
I got my
He,
PhD
she,
in Wombology.
They, Wombo.
Wombo.
Wombo wing. Alright, on the left side, we've got Reborn Knights. It's going to be Frisk on the Vala. Glover is going to be playing the Zarya. Zodiac on Rhaegar. It is going to be Subway Slayer hitting up that Artanis. And Crafty Devil is going to be playing Tyrael.
And on the right side,
5, 4.
What is their team name again?
This is volumeZERO over here on the right.
All right, volumeZERO has Magnetic on Malfurion, Rexpa on Tychus, Regmaru on ETC, Shy Guy on Jaina, on Sonya.
Love the Shy Guy. I hope he does some backflips for us during this match.
Oh yeah. Maybe he'll stab someone with a spear too.
Maybe. It's all about getting that money backflip though. We are gonna see immediately spreading out to lanes here, getting the safe soak in the outer lanes with a 3-man push mid. Right now, Reborn Knights being a little bit passive, not wanting to get too far in on this to start this off with all of the CC potential on the side of volumeZERO, and who can blame them?
Yeah, they really just need to do their best soaking for now and just try and get it into smaller areas for that CC. Or get some ganks.
Yeah, easier said than done, though, against this really tanky, self-sustaining team over on the side of volumeZERO. They do have a lot of options for getting that done. And again, just kind of going back and forth in the mid here. Nothing too crazy to start this match off, as both of these teams, neither of them want to give up this early game soak, but neither of them want to give up these picks either. So choosing not to overly rotate, staying with this 1-3-1 format they got going on here, and just for now clearing the lanes and just kind of respecting each other's space.
Yeah, I would consider sending up ETC to try and get our 10 point out, because Jaina's been slowing him this whole time, so I think it's a lot harder to gank Tyrael.
Does look like the gentleman's agreement is over here, though, with 2-man rotation near the bottom, but Crafty Devil living up to his name here. He's going to go ahead and back up through the towers, but Sonya, being a little bit cheeky here, is going to go back to do this siege camp on the back end to try and deny it from volumeZERO. They would have the ability to go get it, but very, very... oh, no, that's my mistake. That is their own.
Yeah, I was a little confused there, but yeah, that's a job. Just keep camps.
Yeah, never mind. I take it all back. I'm crazy.
It'd been way more interesting if it was the enemy camp, though.
You're right. You're right about that. But both teams are going to get this camp, but it's a little bit better timed out here by Reborn Knights. They get that camp sent in the top, but Tyrael will get there just in time to be able to start this poking process, and this is the game they want to play here for the side of Reborn Knights. They've got that camp pushing in top. They have the advantage in the siege potential, but Crafty Devil gets in a little bit too far. The swap coming out onto wings. They're going to be able to exchange that as a 1-for-1. ETC getting a little bit too deep is going to be blown up here A 4-for-3 exchange at the moment, but Shy Guy getting very low is going to have to back out of this situation. ZDoc going to wolf his way on in, bite her right in the ass to get that kill. And that's going to be a 1-for-3 exchange here in favor of Reborn Knights. They've got the camp pushing in top, and they're going to be in position to clean this up in the bottom as well, Icefox.
And this is kind of what you see why Artanis is so crazy strong, is because they're playing back. They're trying to just get that pick and then back up a little bit and heal and reset. But Artanis is now. You're coming with me.
So we will see wings off. I suppose I should be a little less corny, but I'll say off the wings of that broken team fight there. Rotating up to the top to clean up that camp. Get the XP soak back on. A little bit of an XP lead here by Reborn Knights, but nothing too major as they move on towards the second one. But a nice rotation here from the side of volumeZERO. They instantly are going to get in with that ETC and Jaina. Really fast wave clear to be able to pick up that camp in a hurry, which will be pushing in the mid. But was it too early? Are they going to have the opportunity to clean it up for the side of Reborn Knights?
Yeah, it's already halfway through the lane, and Zarya's going to be able to grenade it now, all she feels like.
Yeah, we haven't heard the toll yet from that second tribute. Should be coming up. There it is. But it will be late enough here that that camp gets completely cleaned up in the mid. And this is going to be a favorable position for volumeZERO. But again, with all the poke Reborn Knights has, they do have the potential to stall this out long enough to try and whittle their health down. Subway Slayer getting in a little bit deep, does get the Zarya shield to try and feed her a little bit, and the swap coming in yet again onto Shy Guy. Jaina put a little bit out of position, but they are going to be able to flank from the bottom with both Tychus and Jaina. They push Reborn Knights out of this situation. Sonya going really, really deep to get up there to try and zone out a couple of the members. The poke war continues, but Glover getting very low. Gonna have to back out. The slide from ETC just barely missing there. And this tribute going over to volumeZERO, tying it up 1-1.
Yeah, they could have rotated a little bit harder there on Artanis, I think, since he was in such a bad position. And as I always say, Artanis can just be obliterated, especially with his lower shields nowadays. If you just CC him and kill him, he's really vulnerable. So I think if they would have rotated more quickly, they probably would have got the kill. But they got the tribute anyways, so it doesn't really matter too much.
Yeah, so not getting a whole lot done with any kind of siege potential there, but this time it's going to be Reborn Knights' turn. They're going to go ahead and pick up their camp. They are going to cap it. Again, I think a little bit of an early cap there. You never really know when this is going to come up, but if you just wait to hear that toll, it hits the lane just a little bit after the spawn point. But the both teams electing to pick these up a little bit early.
Yeah, they don't particularly have stealthies that you'd be worried. They don't really have any stealthies that you'd really worry. Like, if you just killed the camp and had someone sit there or even just left it alone, it's highly unlikely that they would just come steal it.
Yeah, so again, we're going to see this mid camp just get completely cleaned up in the mid, in the bot lane also. The siege camp seemingly to be picked up a little bit early. The siege camp at least takes a little bit longer to get out there, and the lane was pushed in. So the toll this time is actually going to be in the bot. It's going to give Crafty Devil the opportunity to clean it up, but a nice job by Tychus down here, actually being able to zone him out and keep this camp alive as the tribute spawns. We see a bit of a bush gank attempt there. The slide in on Subway Slayer. ETC trying to do his best to get in there, but right now just looking to try to catch anybody out. Crafty Devil gets caught in a little bit too deep, gets body blocked in there. The tribute is picked up by ZDoc, however, in the back part of that. ETC also going to pay, so it is a 1-for-1 exchange. This time, though, the tribute going over to Reborn Knights.
Yeah, ETC got in there a little bit too deep. I think Artan actually landing the swap and pulling away from his own team would have actually helped him there. But now they're going to start boss. It's on the top right for volumeZERO.
Pretty gutsy move. They don't really need ETC with this because of Sonya. Sonya has the ability to really eat this, especially with Malfurion there. Not really a problem. This is not going to be sniffed out at all by Reborn Knights, but they're just going to choose instead to just go ahead and trade. So, but not a very favorable spawn here for the side of Reborn Knights. They're going to be a long way away from this tribute there's no way they're going to be able to contest. But both teams are going to have to inevitably rotate to the opposite lane to clean up these respective bosses. So, could be worse. Could be a lot worse situation.
Yeah, volumeZERO, I think, also. volumeZERO also has a much better siege, so if they decided to race on the bottom and just not go top at all, I think they'd get outpushed pretty hard.
Yeah, but both teams are going to elect to go ahead and rotate. Sonya actually going to the top to push with it a bit. And volumeZERO getting a little bit distracted, not going directly for the boss. Meanwhile, Wings caught out here. Nice rotation here from Reborn Knights, going aggressive on her. They're going to be getting in and getting the stun with that Rain of Vengeance. And that's going to be enough to stall her up. That's going to be a nice pick for the side of Reborn Knights. They can turn around and kill the boss. But the boss does get the fort.
Yeah, the only Sonya there that I felt was that she got the well, but then she overstayed a little bit considering if she should attack the fort. I think she should have backed up a little bit quicker, and she probably would have survived there.
Sonya should be up in time, for sure, actually. We'll be up in time for this tribute in the bottom part of the map. This is Curse Point, either way. Both teams having 2 curses here. We do see Magnetic being out a little bit far here. Level 13's around the corner, but not going to be picked up by either team. So this is a fight on even ground. All 5 are here. Shy Guy casting in the back is going to get interrupted just barely by the swap, but the 4-man mosh in the back line completely wrecking Vala, but the Sanctification and Bloodlust will be popped here on the back line as they try to fight back. Ultimately, though, ZDoc getting very low. It is a 2-for-0 so far. ZDoc going to get caught out. The Expulsion Zone not in time to zone out and try and save him. 3-for-0 exchange going over to volumeZERO.
And now you shall
Yeah, that was pretty much exactly what they planned to do. Just mosh pit the back line and then CC them down with Twilight and just obliterate them. So I'd say they pulled off there pretty well. That's generally why the CC combos are a lot easier to hit than these Bloodlust and Sang combos.
Yeah, and it is indeed going to be Wrath of the Berserker, so they're just looking to hit the money mosh pit and then get as much damage as possible with Odin, Twilight Dream, Wrath of the Berserker, and Ring of Frost. So that's pretty simple strategy from volumeZERO. Lock them down and just blow them up. But like you said, it's a little bit tougher, but I think if both sets of ultimates do hit, it is the Sanctification Bloodlust that wins the fight. But it's tougher to pull off here for the side of Reborn Knights.
And the Sank has to be exactly on Vala. If Vala gets caught in Mosh without Sank, she's pretty much a goner.
Yeah, Sanks pretty much has to save everybody from Mosh. It's really... It's not the only counter, but it's basically the only counter. Cleanse on Vala with Rain of Vengeance could do it. But I think the Cleanse should probably be saved for Tyrael so that he can sank right onto that mosh pit. But we'll have to see as the fight goes along here. Or as the match goes along, I should say. There could be a fight breaking out here in this top lane. The Root and the Spear coming out onto Glover, but able to turn around and zone them out a little bit with that Expulsion Zone. The Siege Camp getting taken down here. As level 16 still right around the corner. The Mosh will hit 3, but the Sanctification comes down. And this time they're looking to turn. Bloodlust popped a little bit late in this fight. ZDoc getting low, but they do turn and they do get 2 in this corridor here. ZDoc walking away with almost no health. Malfurion forced to hit the ice block button. They end up blowing each other up in that even exchange. Jaina goes down, and there it is. Reborn Knights coming back with a 4-for-1 exchange to really be able to pull back up right near even with this XP exchange.
And like we were talking about, all it took was for them to hit Sank on Mosh. That was what they needed at that time. Vala wasn't in the Sank, but she was back in the Mosh that she wasn't even in danger anyways.
Yeah, it was a really money Sanctification there. And yeah, I mean, I think that is what this match comes down to, is can Sanks be in the right time? Can they be off cooldown at the right time to counter the mosh pits? And how many are going to be in it? How many are going to be caught out in the mosh? So that time, deep in enemy territory, volumeZERO gets a little bit too aggressive ends up paying for it, particularly when they were so close to that 16 talent tier. Could have made a really, really big difference. They had the 2-level lead, but they didn't have the talent tier. So it was a nice job by Reborn Knights taking advantage of that.
Gather tribute. Earn my favor.
Speaking of talent tier, 16 right around the corner. Reborn Knights actually going to back up to clear this wave so they can pick up those 16 talents. There they are. Glover getting caught out a little bit, though, by Wings, taking a little bit of heat. They do have the poke ability to be able to stall this out and be able to engage it. It is going to come out. Actually, it's not going to come out. The tribute will be picked up. Jaina just cast it in the back, and they're waiting for the ults to come down. The ring comes down. Sanctification a little bit early. Mosh Pit is still up. The Twilight Dream comes out. That's going to blow up 3. And Subway Slayer is also doomed to go down here. No kills for the side of Reborn Knights. Glover on the run, but this is going to end up being a full team wipe. 5 for nothing for the side of volumeZERO as they push through this top lane. This should be a free keep easily, IceFox, if not the game. Probably just the keep, though.
Yeah, death timers are still pretty low, but they got caught in such a bad position there. They were just flanked from both sides with CC, and that Sank cannot do anything.
Well, and you can tell they were feeling the pressure to feel the need to pick up level 16 there, so they rotated a little bit sloppily up and back. And you know, like you said, it put them really out of position. In a world where volumeZERO didn't even have a single tribute at that point, they could have just given it up. They didn't need to force there.
But it quickly went from 0 to 2 here because they don't think they're going to have a chance of even interrupting.
Right, there's no way they can possibly try to get in to get this tribute. They got to start clearing the lanes out. Full vision for the side of volumeZERO. There's no angle that Reborn Knights could possibly even try to invade this, so they'll very confidently take this boss as the side of Reborn Knights try to push out these lanes a little bit.
And the worst thing is Reborn Knights has to push their boss yet. If they go for it, ETC is already making his way across the map. They're going to know.
Yeah, he's going to be able to scout it out pretty easily, but also they have to worry about the boss barreling down this top lane, going straight for the keep. It does look like they're going to try and set up a bit of a bush gank. Wings is going to get caught out. The Holy Ground comes down. Sanctification is going to block that mosh pit this time, at least for a second. They get caught in it, but the damage is already done. Sonya goes down, ETC falls, and this was exactly what Reborn Knights needed to get back in this game.
Oh yeah, that was a perfect sank. They just grouped up and dropped it on themselves, and nothing could hit them. But they do have to keep wearing out the boss. It's finished off what structs are left in top, and it's going to do probably a little bit of core damage if it gets through the shield, but it might not.
Yeah, they've also got to start rotating here. 3 members still up for the side of volumeZERO. They got to take down the boss, but they also just can't let this curse go for free. It does look like Crafty Devil is going to be in position to stall this out long enough for them to rotate. A little bit of core damage is going to be taken here, but Vala is going to finish off this boss and be able to clear out this top. It is still a 4v3. Crafty Devil gets in just far enough to be able to interrupt Malfurion. Shy Guy chasing after him, though, but it is caught out here down in the bottom part of this lane. Getting a nice bit of damage out on Crafty Devil, but the shield and heal comes in enough to save him. Vala is finally started rotating to this, but Sonya and ETC are also coming back here, IceFox. This is going to turn into a full-fledged team fight.
And Reborn Knights is already a little bit low, but Taiga's almost dead there.
The ring is going to hit Crafty Devil. The cleanse comes out, but he doesn't move quite fast enough. Ends up going down here. Subway Slayer also getting very, very low. Everybody getting kind of low here. Jaina gets low, gets swapped, is able to walk away from this for the moment. Frosty's going to be able to finish that kill off. Magnetic gets the kill on Zarya, but is the only one left. Will ice block, but Vala is just waiting for that to come off. Is not going to be willing to go in on it, though.
A little bit too much.
Yeah, with the curse, could have definitely gotten in on him there. But it is a 3-for-4 exchange, showing exactly how evenly matched these guys are. Oh, just barely gets away with that beat.
I know, I was so hoping he saw it, got the Q swap. That would have been amazing, but sadly no vision.
So we look at where we are now. This is a huge moment for Reborn Knights. They needed this win. They needed this curse to be able to push this down. They're definitely going to get a keep out of this. with this big minion wave. There's nothing that Malfurion can really do about it, but Subway Slayer is actually going back. Going to choose to heal. The death timers are coming off. I feel like they probably could have pushed it in time and backed off, but it would have been a little bit risky. So they are going to choose to play the safe mode here. But the big thing that this curse is going to do is really reset the board. They're going to be able to push out all these lanes. The minions will just passively push everything out of the way with these 1 HP minions on the other side. It's going to give them full vision and really reset both teams level 20 and get them back into this game.
Yeah, that curse was pretty huge just to get them level 20, or else they'd have been at such a huge disadvantage. But thanks to that, the structure damage, clearing some waves, they met up on even terms with them at 20. So it's going to be a pretty even game for right now. It's really going to come down to the combos completely.
And the expulsion zone is going to catch out ETC. He tries to mosh pit. He does actually get the death medal to get all 5 members, which will make him dance for a little while. But as soon as they're done dancing, they're going to be on the offensive mode. This could be their opportunity to end right here, IceFox.
It's pretty insane how much one catch can do for him. They got the boss pushing. This may just be game right here unless some crazy ring play comes down and wipes them.
The swap comes out on wings, but there's the sanctification. Bloodlust has not been popped yet. They're holding it for some reason here. It finally gets popped. Tyrael's going to go down first, though. Subway Slayer going in deep here, but Artanis is going to get blown up. The core starting to go down. Big red button going to be placed right on that boss. Z-Doc also going to get blown up, but it's too little too late. The core is falling. The boss will be able to finish it off, and game 1 goes over to Reborn Knights. What a comeback by these guys here.
Yeah, that was pretty crazy, but that is just the power of boss. He was saving the Bloodlust that whole time because they just got ringed, though. And he knew they couldn't move and attack, so he's like, I'm just going to hold Bloodlust. I'm just going to hold it until it ends, and then we're going to kill core.
Yeah, waited until they got to the core, and you can see how even this match was. 17-17. They were both on even level. They both basically had one keep at the end there. But yeah, that's that ETC pick. It all comes down to that one pick. And, you know, you look at the entirety of the match, the entire script, when it all comes down to that one kill to really push it over the edge, it can feel a little bad. It is the overall scope, but that was the final nail in the coffin when Reborn Knights really started to get up that momentum.
Yeah, I'm really glad this is going to be 2 of 3, though. I expect this to be really good for the next match, even if it's only a 2-0, but I'm expecting a 2-1 if we keep seeing play like that.
Well, the next map is going to be the choice of Reborn Knights, which means that volumeZERO is going to have the opportunity to be able to pick get the first pick here. I guess I wanted to play on the other team, not be an observer. My bad. But we'll go
Jay
ahead
has
and
quit and moved on.
yeah, I've decided I don't want to cast anymore. I want to be playing with these guys. No, but so we are going to go ahead and get everything set up here for game 2 for you guys. Thank you so much for joining us. The nightcap here. We did have 3 scheduled. We did get to host 1 earlier. It's our pleasure. Go ahead and get Reborn Knights on into the lobby. So Battlefield of Eternity was actually the map that they won on last week with pretty much the same exact comp that they just ran, and it's kind of their bread and butter here. We'll have to see if the side of volumeZERO wants to start counter banning them out a little bit here.
Obviously, what they should be doing is picking Li Ming and Chromie and Tassadar on this map, because that's clearly the solution.
It's the solution to everything.
It has to be an accidental Chromie pick, though, like last pick.
Right.
Oops.
Right. It's got to be. He's got to close his eyes and pick somebody randomly and have it be Chromie. That's how it's got to work.
If it doesn't work like that, her damage goes way down. It's a secret hidden bug. Don't worry about it.
Don't even worry about it.
But yeah, I'm hoping they actually get some counter bans. Maybe take away the Zarya. I feel like she was pretty impactful that game.
All right, well, game number 2 is going to be on Battlefield of Eternity. Reborn Knights taking it to their home ground here home field advantage. They don't get the first pick, but they will get to battle on what seems like their favorite battleground to try and close out the series at a 2-0. volumeZERO back against the Wolves. Played really well throughout the early part of that game one, but ultimately they just lost control of those combos and just didn't quite sync up their ultimates as well as Reborn Knights was able to in that first game.
Yeah, pretty much just goes to show it doesn't matter if you're slightly ahead. If you're not snowballing that leads hard, then it's just going to come down to one pick at the end of the game.
Well, and what's funny about that match was, you would look at part of that mid game and see volumeZERO pushing through that top with the aid of that siege camp, right on the cusp of getting level 16 with about a 2-level lead over Reborn Knights. And you might think, well, this is starting to get out of hand, but it just takes that one team fight. That's the great thing about Heroes of the Storm. The whole game could turn right on a dime. And there must be some level 20 Greymane player over on the side of Reborn Knights, because the side of volumeZERO really doesn't want to let him have that guy.
Yeah, it's a little confusing. Like, again, I think Zarya was a huge problem. I think Tyrael was really strong there. I don't see the point of the Greymane. I don't care how good of a Greymane you are. I don't think it outweighs those picks.
Now, Artanis is available here. Very, very good on this map. Vala also with the Q build. So they are going to choose to go with the Artanis for the side of volumeZERO. The swaps will be in play on their side this time. And, of course, that level 1 talent, which I know you love so much, is going to be available. Vala and Rhaegar coming out. Do you think we might see a Tyrael ban here?
It's possible. I probably would, because it looks like they're about to do the exact same thing again.
Yeah. Starting to see a pattern here with Reborn Knights. I think they have a favorite comp. I would love to see them play without that comp and see if they can do other stuff, because so far these are their first 2 matches in Chair League history. This is a newly formed team, and so far they've the other teams have not really forced them to do anything different.
Alternatively, I think they should still ban Tyrael, but if they keep running this Bloodlust auto attack comp, they definitely need to be taking the blind on Artanis, the suppression pulse, and maybe even pick up Johanna, but they're going ETC here.
Yeah, so they're going to go back to what they were doing in that first game. And I'll tell you, ETC Artanis is a pretty decent combo. There's also the CC that comes from Malfurion swaps. A lot of sustain in the mid game, in the mid fight for Malfurion. A little bit weak early, but he comes into his own later in the game with a certain couple of talents that he can pick. We'll see. We got the ban phase coming out here. Not really any. They could try to block some sort of auto attack damage dealer from the side of volumeZERO here, but that's about the only chokehold they have available.
Yeah, I don't think they're going to ban Tychus. I think they probably are going to pick up Tychus here, I would assume.
That would be an interesting thing to do with Vala. That is actually something that Lit Esports did against us a couple weeks ago, a couple times. So it's not unheard of. The Tassadar ban coming out here, so they're choosing to continue to try and deny this, and I don't know, I feel like we're walking right into a Tyrael pickup. Though they don't really need him here. It's probably not something that, well, they're going to go with it.
Tyrael Zarya again.
Yep, so
like
sanctification.
I think Zarya needed to be banned.
Yeah, something. They're choosing not to respect this combo. And if this series ends up in a 2-0, I feel like volumeZERO is going to regret the bans that came out. There was nothing indicating that Reborn Knights really wanted to use Tassadar or Greymane. And I'm not saying that, volumeZERO should have watched the match last week from Reborn Knights, but, it's the same combo they did last week. It's the same combo they did in game 1. They pick Vala Rhaegar, which is, like, obvious foreshadowing here, and they just choose to not try to deny them anything.
I'm still just confused with the Greymane. I'd like to understand their thought process on that one. It'd be interesting to hear why they're thinking that, or if one of the other team does have an amazing Greymane player that's like level 20 but just doesn't play him anymore or something.
Well, in Greymane,
They're going Tychus Thrall.
Yeah, that's a little bit different, but you know, again, I'm still thinking like, okay, well, what stops this combo? If you hit Sanctification Bloodlust pretty much on the money, what stops it? I guess Artanis Blinds could slow it down if you hit it after the Sanct drops. But I'm worried about Thrall getting absolutely annihilated in the middle of that mess.
Yeah, if Saint comes down at the right time, right when he's about to sunder, then what is he going to do? Because he's probably not going to take Earthquake against this team. I don't think you would ever take Earthquake against this team. What is that really going to do for you?
Yeah, I mean, if you can make it out of that initial Sanctification portion. Wow, so aggro. These guys are going hard with this comp with Sonya. If you can make it past that initial portion of Sanctification, Earthquake could at least slow them down and make it a little bit harder for them to catch your team. But something like a Falstad to be able to try and gust to disengage after the Sanctification drops or before it comes down could be something. But even that, you know, if you hit the gust and it just happens to fall the same time as the Sanctification, you just wasted the ult.
Yeah, one of the worst parts about volumeZERO's comp here right now is that they're 3-man melee into Sank and Vala and Bloodlust.
And their own 3-man front, sort of, with Zarya, but Zarya is kind of a hybrid, but certainly, you know, well, actually, yeah, I guess Rhaegar, Sonya, I mean, Vala's the only ranged hero, really. So, yeah, I mean, the only difference there is they're going to have Bloodlust, and they're going to have Sanctification post-head.
Yeah, they're going to have to really rely on the swaps here, I think. If they want to win, they're going to have to get a pick and win.
Alright, so we are loading in here. Battlefield of Eternity, game number 2. Looking to close out this series with a clean sweep. On the left, you have Reborn Knights, Subway Slayer playing that Sonya. D-Doc is going to be on the Rhaegar. Glover playing the Zarya. Frost is going to be back on Vala for this game. And once again, we'll see Crafty Devil playing the Tyrael.
And on the right, we have volumeZERO with Magnetic on Malfurion, Regamaru on Artanis, Wings on ETC, Rexba on Tychus, and Shy Guy on Thrall.
So both these teams heading towards the mid. I would give a slight edge pre-10 to the team fighting kits here for the side of volumeZERO, but both teams are going to go in, kind of test their mettle a little bit here at level 1. Shy Guy going in a little bit deep to try and get some of those autos out, but ultimately it is going to be the side of Reborn Knights backing out, thinking better of this. They are going to send Sonya to the top, and it looks like they're going to have a 4-man bot. So we're going to see the classic, long since forgotten 1v1 here in the top of Sonya versus Thrall.
And how long has it been?
It's 10,000 years. Or so it seems. It does seem like it's been a while, but Sonya coming slowly back into the meta. Pretty interesting that, again, we see her here, but not Variant. And the slide in here onto Glover, trying to get somebody caught out here, is the side of volumeZERO. They're going to be pressing in, but nice rotations here from Reborn Knights. As soon as somebody starts to get focused, get a little bit low, we see the Vault back, we see the Eldruins back. People just rotate out, and it gives Z-Doc a chance to heal everybody up here.
Yeah, their team comp is really mobile here. They got a pretty good early game. They got the sheet. I think they're going to get a pick very easily here.
Yeah, superior wave clear so far for the side of volumeZERO. So the side of Reborn Knights are going to have to make a little bit of a slower rotation or else give up some of that soak. They choose to do a little bit of both here. But a favorable spawn here for the side of Reborn Knights with the enemy's Immortal spawning in the bottom next to where the 4-man was. We'll see the 5-man start to collapse in, and we'll see a pause on the side of Reborn Knights.
By the way, look at that Artanis doing work on the Immortal already.
Yeah, already starting to chunk it down with that level 1 amateur opponent.
Such a good on this map.
The dreaded taskbar. I always hate when the taskbar shows itself. Get out of here, you
I'm
damn
gonna take
taskbar.
this chance to look at people's first level talent choices, but I'm not saying anything too unique or strange here. Pretty much all seems normal for this level of play.
I don't know if I can do all. I think observers.
Casters can't. No. Because of reasons, that's why.
Well, I can't unpause it. It's Brosk that's got it paused. There we go. We're getting the countdown. Alright, and we're back at it here. The instant slide in here from Wings. He knew what he wanted to do as soon as he came out of that pause, and Crafty Devil is going to be the first to pay. He will get in there to get some nice damage out on Thrall. Subway Slayer spinning the winning after him, but is going to spin right into that Malfurion root. Artanis turns around and will knock him down here, and this is going to be halfway there for the side of volumeZERO, as basically no damage from Reborn Knights yet on these. As they spawn out to the offensive positions, should make it pretty easy for volumeZERO to close this one out.
Yeah, right there, Teriel kind of confused me when after the pause he queued in. I don't know if he remembered his Q was down and he was trying to throw it, but he teleported right in an enemy team with no help.
Yeah, that's kind of a bummer, but those are the kind of things that, you know, you can't help that sometimes pauses are going to happen. Everybody has the same opportunity to take a breath and look at where they are. So at that point, you know, it's kind of your own fault if you're not looking at that. And, you know, some might consider taking advantage. But again, if everybody's got the same advantage, it's not really an unfair one.
Absolutely.
So we do see the Immortal picked up here for the side of volumeZERO, quickly chunking down this front wall. Still a little bit of a shield on the Immortal as he starts to wade his way on in towards the fort. It does look like volumeZERO is going to get a little bit aggressive here, actually. They were looking at backing up, but they see a nice opportunity to get a two-man slide. Glover caught out here is going to get knocked down in this situation. Caught out completely. That's going to be the first fort of the game, going over to the side of volumeZERO. And they made it count. They made this first Immortal really count in a way that you don't often see here.
Yeah, you get the fort, it always counts. Usually it just gets the front wall, but anything more than that, and that's just huge amounts of bonus.
That's going to be about a level lead here for the side of volumeZERO. They do have a few kills, but mostly going to be in the structure race so far. They will be able to back up and pick up this top camp fairly easily. But rotation coming in here from the side of Reborn Knights. Shy Guy, Spidey senses tingling, starts to go back a little bit, but is going to come back in on Subway Slayer. And boy, is he going to regret that. He's going to try and get in to at least get the trade, but the heals come in time, and that's going to be a pick for the side of Reborn Knights. Oh, but look at this camp rotation, very aggro. We do see the scouting drone coming out to try and see about where they are, but they know they're in the bottom here at this point. That's a very nice steal here from the side of volumeZERO. Very aggressive, very smart, knowing where their opponents are. Good map awareness. Oh, but Magnetic getting caught out here on Malfurion. Nice slide to be able to at least get in there and peel for him, though. And going to be able to get him out just fine in that situation, while the side of Reborn Knights are going to have to answer this camp in the bottom.
Yeah, that got really scary for Malf there, but they rotated out pretty well. They got out just in time. It was just a little unfortunate Malf got caught, but with their skill, they just decided, nah, man, he ain't dying today.
So they're going to go ahead and pick up their camp really, really well timed for the side of volumeZERO. Yet again, showing that they do have good macro on this map. It was Reborn Knights' map pick. However, you know, again, they're showing solid macro in the early game to be able to take an advantage here and be able to push it. They're going to have double camp pushing in the top, which is something that Reborn Knights can't really ignore without losing a lot.
Yeah, and volumeZERO definitely has the faster race here.
Yeah, you see a little bit of indecision here from the side of Reborn Knights. A slow rotation to the top. There's no way they're going to be able to catch up in that race. they're going to lose this Immortal, but more importantly, they're losing a lot in the top lane to the Shaman camp. The front wall is getting beat down. Subway Slayer is going to be able to make it up there to at least save the front wall, but ammo completely gone. And a full 5-man rotation here from volumeZERO to start to pressure this bottom fort before the Immortal even gets here.
Yeah, fortunately for Reborn Knights, though, the Immortal doesn't have too much of a shield because they did race it pretty effectively. They just can't outrace it.
The level 10's right around the corner here. About half a level left. They're going to get a decent amount of XP from this wave. If they get much of this front wall, it's going to be level 10 here for volumeZERO. So Reborn Knights got to be really careful. Still 2 full levels away. They're not choosing to put anybody in that top lane to side soak to try and catch up. They're fully committing to this. They are going to try and go in before level 10s come in, but as soon as that cannon goes down, the level 10s come in already. Sonya blown up, the mosh pit comes in instantly. Odin from the back end is going to get 2 more. The blow up is good to get a lot of damage out, but not going to be enough to finish anybody off. Malfurion heals are going to be really, really strong in the situation to be able to bring everybody back up with the self-sustain they already have. The swap out on Zdoc, the route to follow it up along with the ETC slide, that'll be another pick. And all of a sudden, near full 3-level lead for volumeZERO as they start to snowball this one real early.
You really have to be careful when the enemy team is about to get level 10, especially when you don't have your counters yet. Like, they were in the most threat when they don't have level 10, and they do, because they have, like, no mosh counters.
Yeah, absolutely none. And that really hurt. They tried to, I think they tried to go in to try to force that encounter before level 10, but right as that team fight started, that level 10 was picked up, and they got right on those ultimates. It did not take them long to pick those up and take full advantage, and it is actually Earthquake coming out from the Thrall.
Also interesting, Val is going the Q build for the most part. She definitely wanted to try and race on this map, even though she not quite helping here, I don't think, too much.
Well, it does give burst damage potential, which is kind of nice against Malfurion, so I can kind of see where they're going with that from a team fight advantage. But again, here, all they need to do is get 10. They need to just stay focused on getting 10, not giving up any more picks. They might have to concede this Immortal, which could be pretty devastating in the long term of the game. But sometimes you just look at a game situation, and you gotta just take what the game can give you. If you try and get too greedy with trying to clear these up or trying to leave these camps and catapults, I mean, there's really no option here for Reborn Knights. They're on the back foot. They've got to do what they can do to start to catch up. But here's level 10 coming in instantly picking up that combo once again. Expulsion Zone, Bloodlust, Reign of Vengeance, Sanctification, and what I'm sure will be Wrath of the Berserker coming out for Sonya. There it is.
Bahatz is definitely showing its leniency to the team that is losing with the fact that the waves do push against you, so they got level 10 without going down 3 levels still there. Actually, only 2 levels now, pretty much evenly.
So we do see the setup gank potential here. Smart rotation, though, for the side of volumeZERO. Not going to fall for this one this time as they start to push this out. But it does look like Reborn Knights are going to try and force here. This is a pretty smart move. They are going to do what they can to go in from the backside here to try to force them to team fight before they get 13. But the front wall is going to give them 13. They got to go. Crafty Devil goes in. He's going to drop the Sanctification. The Bloodlust is going to come out just as it's scripted, but it's a little bit too early on that Sanctification. The 5-man mosh pit coming out from the side of volumeZERO, and that's a 5-for-0 exchange. That's probably game right there, Icebox.
More than likely. That Immortal still has so much shield left right now. The death timers are pretty low, but all the heroics were just burned. So I don't know if they can actually get up.
Yeah, the Malfurion heals showing their strength here as they start to bring back what was a very low volumeZERO with pretty mana-efficient heals from the Malfurion. They are also still up that level 13 talent here to slide in to push Crafty Devil back. Again, they don't have the Sanctification. or the Bloodlust to try to defend. They do get Tychus, but the core is going down. That is going to be game 2, going over to volumeZERO, and we are going to a game 3 here in this series.
Yeah, I think that game was a perfect show of what happens when a team gets the lead and just never really loses it.
Yeah, they played really smart there. You know, I gotta give credit to Reborn Knights. They never gave up. They knew what their comp was meant to do, and they did do a nice job of forcing the side of volumeZERO to fight them at the end there, thinking they could get that win. But so far, you know, they just weren't able to get those key wins that they got in game 1. A little bit better answer. A little bit of an early sanctification, so their ults didn't mesh quite as well that time. They just missed it a little bit, and so they kind of got wrecked by that mosh pit. That was really the key. Is mosh pit was saved long enough to get past the sanctification and be able to win them that team fight.
And surprisingly, even though they had Zarya, they still did. They still lost, even though I thought Zarya was going to be the one to carry him through it. But no, guess not. Guess Zarya wasn't the problem.
And they got a little bit too far behind there. I think was also part of the problem. I mean, you fall a certain amount behind, and if it's timed really, really well, your opponents, they can really start to take advantage of that. And that is exactly what we saw out of volumeZERO. Every time they had a lead, they took the perfect route to be able to take full advantage of that.
I think it would have been kind of interesting, and maybe something to think about if you're ever playing Zarya, is that you can drop the expulsion zone on top of your own team if they have an ETC, so he can't slide in and mosh you. It's basically a second sank. Because on that fight that they lost, they didn't actually use Repulsion Field because she was caught in the ETC mosh.
Right.
But if she would have preemptively put it on herself, it may have just pushed him back.
All right, so game 3, we're going to play on Tomb of the Spider Queen. Another very snowbally map. So it is definitely a map that I would say probably favors the side of volumeZERO and what we've been seeing from them so far. Very strong early game, and just in general, again, it's very snowbally. You have to be able to have solid macro to be able to win on this map.
I would actually be somewhat surprised if we see Artanis here again being picked up, because this is one of his worst maps, I think. His wave clear isn't great. He's not great at killing the spiders. You can take an amateur opponent, but usually don't. So I could see both teams forgoing Artanis here, but he may just be strong enough that they don't care.
Yeah, I think there's not a single map that I would call Artanis bad on right now.
Like, this is one of his worst. It's not bad.
One of the ones where he is the least OP.
Yes. It's his bottom 3 maps.
Yeah. Alright, looks like we have Reborn Knights ready. Waiting for the word here from volumeZERO, and we will get this final draft underway. Game 3 coming. The hype is real, and it's heading into the tomb of the Spider Queen. Maybe. Oh, no, maybe not. Maybe it's not. Maybe the hype train is going to take a quick stop. Right. There we go. Now it's going into the tomb of the Spider Queen. Eventually, I'll get used to all this new stuff. But
or you won't.
But I don't want to jinx it. So I think I've got a couple of these wooden TV tables here. I haven't DC'd yet.
That's always a good thing.
It's a good start, at least. So it does look
I'm
like
actually kind of surprised the teams just don't ban
it.
Yeah, they'll probably ban Rag. Or they can just ban ETC and say no one gets these combos.
Yeah. Yeah, they just ban each other out. Force each other to play something else. Because, yeah, we've seen basically the same 2 comps from these teams. Just kind of stubbornly forging ahead with what they want to do. And, you know, each team's taking it once. I mean, in order to really see which combo's the best, we would have to see a rubber match with it, right?
Essentially. But they're going to man out Ragnaros. Pretty standard. Rag is strong on every single map ever to exist, but, you know.
We'll have to see if it's the Greymane ban coming back here. Personally, I think the Tassadar ban is a lot stronger, but it is going to be Tyrael. So they're going to say, Reborn Knights, we'd like to see what else you have in your bag of tricks, gentlemen.
The angel is boring. Give us...
Enough of this 5-man and vulnerability stuff. It's too much. It's too much. Well, and now Rhaegar really isn't an option. I think that this is one of the few comps that you can really pull off a Bloodlust Rhaegar in. So at this point, I mean, it's not to say that they can't choose Rhaegar, but if they did choose Rhaegar, they're probably going for Ancestral at this point.
It'd be amazing to pick Greymane, though.
That would be hilarious. Especially if it was a first pick Greymane. I would feel really bad for what I've been saying about volumeZERO's bans, but it is going to be the Malfurion pickup here. So we're definitely going to see something different this time from Reborn Knights. We haven't seen him with Malfurion yet, so we'll see how Zdoc does on who is, in my opinion, the best support in the format.
I still think he's just generally okay.
All right.
I think he's pretty even.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's not one support that is super OP. You know, there was a while there where Malfurion was the super OP one. There was a long stretch where Rhaegar was the best support in the game by far. But that time was a long time ago. But at this point, I think Malf is just the consistently best. He's got the most versatility in terms of how you can build him and what you can kind of do with him. He's just the best sustained healer in the game. Though in certain situations, you know, Ario can contest that. Brightwing, of course, with the globals, can bring a lot of the same strengths, but other utility items with it. But ETC Vala coming out here for the side of volumeZERO, so they're mixing it up a little bit here with the Vala denial. And again, Reborn Knights, they're going to have to do something a little bit different because now they've got 2 of their dreaded combo they can't have. We'll have to see how they respond.
It's actually pretty interesting that they gave up ETC on the first pick. Because of the fact they knew they wouldn't have Tyrael, it was pretty obvious, possibly, that volumeZERO is just going to run ETC again. Like, he ain't got the sync now. Didn't really help you last time, he ain't got the sync now.
Well, I mean, I really feel like, again, it came down to that mosh pit. Really, the big winner in that last game. And they've been kind of doing that same thing. So I'm not too surprised that they're wanting to stick with it and break it out. But here comes Tychus coming out for Reborn Knights along with Artanis. So the swaps into the roots again is what we're going to be looking for. Good CC potential. And then, of course, Tychus does have the ability to follow those up pretty well with this very steady stream of big damage.
Again, not a super fan of Artanis here. I think I would have preferred to see them pick up Dahaka, but I guess they got Malfurion and Tychus, so they didn't want him to get blinded. I don't know. Yeah, I just don't like Artanis on this map too terribly much unless you're actually having a plan for it. But right now, it just seems like picking up Artanis because he's available.
And because he's a really strong hero. You know, I think that there is something to be said for being able to have at least 1 or 2 meta heroes that are really strong, even if they don't fit very well on the map. Because, you know, you can draft into the map with everybody else. Malfurion with Moonburn has pretty solid wave clear, particularly for a support. Tychus' wave clear is probably not one of the better in the game, but like any assassin, he can take care of a wave fairly efficiently. And it does look like it's going to be the Rhaegar band, so making sure that they don't steal away Bay here on the side of volumeZERO. Also, just in general, again, getting rid of one of the stronger supports in the game. And could also be a Tassadar ban, could be beneficial here. They want to try and deny something from the Vala. So Ariel also still on the table. So there are a lot of good options here for supports that can really make this comp other than Rhaegar. Rhaegar, I don't even know if he's the best one, really.
Yeah, I'm actually following volumeZERO ban Johanna. Like, I understand I'm going to protect Vala, but it was just for Vala, it seems, so far, unless they're going to pick up another auto-attack style carry.
Yeah, that's pretty strange. You don't see a whole lot of Johanna or Tannis.
Yeah, I'm going to expect they're probably maybe going to pick a Thrall again or something.
It makes sense. You know, they've been kind of working with that. Sonya's still also on the table. Something that both teams have been prioritizing and trying to play with. So, Sonya's also got pretty decent wave clear for this map. But it is going to be Zarya Tassadar, so they're looking to go Super Vala. They're going to put everything they can into this Vala basket and hyper carry with her.
Yeah, they're just going the unkillable Vala comp, but I wonder how Reborn Knights are going to respond to that.
Well, first of all, they're going to try to swap the Vala, if I had to guess. But, assuming they can't get to her.
I'm talking more with their 2 next picks. What are you going to pick against that?
Yeah. That's a good question. Again, something that can really peel away the layers that are trying to protect Vala and try and get to her.
So you're saying Varian?
Yeah, Varian definitely a really good option here. Also, call me crazy, but so far, no cleanse over on the side of volumeZERO. Maybe a Chromie?
That could be pretty possible, but I'm not sure if Chromie's damage could actually go through a Tass and a Zarya. Sylvanas. I'm not sure that's what they needed here.
Well, so they're looking to prioritize the macro. Sylvanas, very good on this map in general to be able to help push the web weavers. A decent split pusher and incredible wave clear. So Sylv is that kind of pick. It also, Wailing Arrow is one of the things that I feel like we really haven't seen Reborn Knights pick up in terms of having a mosh pit counter. Also have that with Tychus Grenade. Even Malfurion Twilight, if he gets the right positioning, can do it. But it is going to be Morales as the main support for the side of volumeZERO. And talk about the unkillable Vala. You just put that Morales beam on her with all the shields, and she can pretty much just go into the enemy backline and just start doing work. I mean, they'll turn around and kill Morales, but you know.
Yeah. It's a little strange to see a full, complete healer that can't do anything else but heal with Tassadar, but I guess if they really want to keep Vala alive, that's what they're going to do. But if it's just Vala dealing damage, what's going to stop Malfurion from just walking in and pressing R?
Yeah, basically. The only thing I can think of is the ETC slide. Reign of Vengeance also, but the idea is nowadays, seeing a Malfurion start to come up and posture for Twilight Dream is about as obvious as trying to watch an old-style ETC riding around on his mount, posturing for a mosh pit. People have started to learn how to see it, prepare for it, and stun it out.
Yeah, the only problem is you can see it, you can stun it out, but with Vala as your only damage dealer, I'm not sure you can kill him fast enough to stop him from getting unstunned and just pressing it anyways.
Right. Well, 9-second cooldown at that point, but yeah,
that's if you stop at mid-cast.
Right, that's true. Well, that's the idea. You would have to stop at mid-cast in order to stop it from going off, but anyway, on the left.
They could blow him up before it happens, but we'll introduce the teams.
Yeah, we'll go ahead and move on to that. On the left, Reborn Knights, Subway Slayer on the Artanis. It is going to be Crafty Devil playing Muradin. Frusk is going to be playing the Tychus, Glover on Sylvanas, and Z-Doc going to be playing Malfurion.
And on the right, once again, we have volumeZERO with Magnetic on ETC, Regamaru on Lieutenant Morales, Wings on Zarya, Shy Guy on Tassadar, and Rexpo on Vala.
And the cheese comes out from how you would expect it from a Sylvanas comp in the bottom lane. They get about half of that bottom tower down, so nothing too major, but we will see the 4-man rotate start in the bottom lane, which is kind of odd. Normally we see 4-man rotate from mid to top, which is what we're seeing from volumeZERO. They're going to go in and catch Subway Slayer a little bit out, but not going to go very hard at him. Rexpa going to go ahead and throw out the Hungering Arrow at least to get a little bit of work done there.
I'm actually a little surprised that they just didn't keep pushing Bob with the fact that Zarya was the only one there and they saw them rotating upwards. Like, if they would have just committed, they would have easily gotten the front wall. But here comes the gank from above. It's going to be a 5-man gank against 4 people.
Yep, they're going to go in deep here. 5v4. D-Doc trying to rotate away on Malfurion there. Crafty Devil getting a little bit low, but the grenade is good to be able to knock him back, and that is going to be a pick. First blood going over to volumeZERO.
That was an amazing Lieutenant Morales grenade to secure that kill.
Yeah, it was really on point there. A lot of people don't respect the CC that Morales can offer, especially now with the change to that grenade, being able to explode it at will rather than it being first on contact, because you can really tuck those in behind somebody to knock them back. It's all in your hands. And nice job by Regamaru there, getting that grenade out to push that Malfurion back out of position to be able to rotate back to the safety of that bottom port.
Artanis just seems to be hanging out in the top lane, not planning on helping his team with any kind of swap kills in the early game, it seems.
Yeah, he's going to be the solo laner coming out here. Reborn Knights not really going with too much of a rotation strategy here. I do feel like they definitely lose the rotation battle. They don't have the superior wave clear. They also really don't have good ganking potential like what we see out of volumeZERO, unless they have Artanis in that rotation. Even then, it still puts him in kind of a rough position if they do go after a gank.
Yeah, Artanis did try to swap someone in his towers, but even then, I don't think it mattered that much. It may have been actually good for them just to waste some tower shots. Everyone's putting down them scouting drones, though.
Yeah, that's a new thing. Scouting drones everywhere.
Man, remember when we did that when we started Chair League?
Yeah, I remember. We did scouting drone before it was cool to do scouting drone. Well, specifically, Reaper did scouting drone before it was cool to do scouting drone.
It was hilarious, though.
It was quite funny, and it's really useful on this map. Being able to have vision over the turn-ins is a really big deal in terms of trying to goaltend. We do see both teams have secured a couple of turn-ins for themselves here. 17 for the side of Reborn Knights, 21 for the side of volumeZERO. Shy Guy going to try and turn in another 7, but Artanis will make it in there in time to be able to pressure him off. That swap misses. They're going after Vala. Not even trying the dash swap to really try and get her out of position. Just the old standard swap technique.
As if I got buffed in QE now, I'll just use normally.
Yeah, I'll never see it coming. And there it is again, except Vala rooted there. So we just see Subway Slayer just use that almost as a secondary dash right to her. Or, yeah, you know, to another I don't know what you call that actually when you get to catch up to somebody real quick.
A flash.
I don't.
But the only problem with that was, yeah, she was rooted. I think maybe he was trying to time it properly, but it just didn't end up happening. Malfurion's root time can be a little bit strange.
Yeah, a little bit hard to time for sure. But either way, that is going to be first Web Weavers going over to the side of volumeZERO here. Good pressure in that top lane. Already a lot of that ammo gone in the top lane. So these Web Weavers are going to be spawning pretty far into that top lane. And they're going to be focusing on the mid as well. Full 5-man bottom commitment be able to take down this bottom lane, which was probably the lane that was the least under assault. In mid lane, they're going to get the full front wall and the well there, and leave the Spider to its business. They'll rotate to the top, allowing Reborn Knights to rotate to the mid and clear this out. But this is a really good exchange here for the side of volumeZERO. They're doing a nice job of not risking anything, but ensuring that they're getting some value out of these first web weavers. The engage coming in here, though, Magnetic sliding through a good portion of them, but they have caught Morales out. They kill her completely. Subway Slayer backing out with almost no health. They do get that pick on Morales, and they're going to be content with that for now. But while this is going on, the top lane, they're losing their fort over this.
Yeah, I'm a little surprised it didn't start clearing in the top wave, considering that the boss spawns there, thus it is the most important lane on this map. I feel like if you're going to defend anywhere, you should probably start there if it's all in equal danger.
Right, and it's also worth noting that even with a spider there, the spiders are probably the least PvP-oriented map objective in the game. You don't really have to worry about the damage that a spider's coming out, so you can PvP fight around it without risking too much. So the side of Reborn Knights being very passive there in that first section, being willing to give up a lot, they are going to secure the web weaver phase here. But because they were so passive in that, it really allowed volumeZERO to be able to get some good solid value and a little bit of an XP lead for it. But Reborn Knights are definitely going to be able to get a lot of the same here to be able to catch up here. But level 10 still being won pretty fiercely by volumeZERO. We'll have to see when these structures start to go down a little bit where that XP falls, as level 10 very, very close for volumeZERO here.
Yeah, if they pick up level 10 first, they're going to have to be worried about a gank here. But they don't have level 10 yet, but they're ganking anyways.
Yeah, the fight's going to break out before anybody gets level 10. Very, very deep is ETC in here. Magnetic getting very low. And he is going to be able to get out with the help of Morales there. The grenade can actually whiff. Frost very low on the back end. Level 10's picked up by both teams here. Picked up a little bit quicker there by volumeZERO, but they really weren't able to take advantage of it. Not popping really any of those ultimates other than Expulsion Zone and Rain. So not really getting a whole ton of value out there. But both teams have gotten level 10 and the first fort of the game, going over to Reborn Knights in that bottom lane. And the top lane, for that matter, actually.
Yeah, I was about to say, they got top first then.
Mosh Pit coming out here is going to be instantly interrupted. Very nice interrupt there on that Mosh Pit. Subway Slayer getting very low, though. Tassadar doing what he can, going in very ham, as we've seen many Tassadars do with this Archon, as they're pushing in towards the mid, pushing them back. The Web Weavers have been taking down the Expulsion Zone. Not going to be able to zone anybody out, but they do get the pick on Malfurion here. A 1-for-0 exchange, as they are going to be able to back up, clean up these lanes, maybe secure themselves a turn in here.
Yeah, Mosh was proving itself to still be useful, even when did not shortly afterwards, just for the short-term CC to get Malf caught out.
Yeah, and if nothing else, it's a spectacle, right? You know, it's something that your team has to plan for, has to react to, has to constantly be on the alert for. And it's like you said, even if you just get that 1 second, even if it's just Morales hitting the cleanse to give you 1 second of 3 or 4 of the enemy team being mosh pitted before it gets interrupted, it's still worth it. It's still a really, really great ultimate. And it draws resources from the enemy team to be able to, to interrupt it. If they got a Brightwing on the other team and they're using Polymorph to interrupt it, that's a Polymorph that they can't use on something else.
Absolutely, it's a very strong offense, but they're fighting a little bit over this egg, but looks like just a quick poke war, and then they're going to back off.
Yeah, the side of Reborn Knights doesn't actually have enough to turn in here. They're going to maybe try and feign dumping a little bit of this to try and force volumeZERO into a fight pre-13. The swap is going to miss on Magnetic there. So they're going to actually go ahead and turn in some of their gems, or they're going to attempt it, but sneaky shy guy up in the top lane, up in the top turn-in location, he'll grab that one. And that's going to be the Web Weavers going over to the side of volumeZERO. The engagement coming on here, though, Crafty Devil's going to go in. They do not have 13. This could be a really rough engagement for them. The Mosh Pit comes out. The Wailing Arrow will be able to interrupt that for the moment. Or perhaps the Twilight Dream, but either way, silenced out of it. And so far, a 2-for-0 exchange, though. They are able to turn on this yet again. Morales doing a nice job keeping everybody topped up. Very healthy. And again, that Mosh Pit, even though it was canceled fairly early, still really feeling the effects of that frontline push and that frontline zoning.
Oh yeah, it pulled two different silence resources that weren't coordinated properly, and it got them stunned for 2 kills.
Yeah, again, taking that fight pre-13, not exactly advisable. And there was really no reason to force there. That's the big thing. So there's really no reason for them to actually continue the force here. They can push them back, certainly. They can defend their structures, but coming out into the mid lane and really forcing that team fight there, pre-13, they're just asking to be beat, taking that with such a big disadvantage.
Absolutely, and also, the thing that if the Web Weavers are killing the minions, your enemy aren't getting the XP if they're not nearby. So it's not the worst thing just to let the Web Weavers push and defend the lane the enemy are in.
Meanwhile, level 13 picked up here for the side of Reborn Knights, but an instant rotation here from volumeZERO as they try to go on this boss, but they don't have very good boss damage. And Crafty Devil's definitely going to be in here fast enough to be able to get on the point. He does jump in, but the expulsion zone is good to be able to zone him off of this. It is picked up by the side of volumeZERO. Meanwhile, ZDoc is going to go down to that Archon damage and the zoning, and they have pushed Reborn Knights out of this as Subway Slayer is going to get very low. He's going to go down. 2-for-0 exchange, and the boss is going to be pushing down in this top lane. Another great encounter and a big win here for volumeZERO.
Yeah, and I think we're seeing one of the major problems with the team comp of Reborn Knights as well, where I said that they didn't really have all that much damage or anything. They're just not able to do anything, even when they land atop Twilight Dream.
Yeah, a lot of what they're depending on, yet again, is the coordination of their ults, which is kind of a difficult thing to pull off. You have to make sure that, you probably lead. Oh, and there's the ultimate coming out on the Mosh Pit. Going to be able to pick off Sylvan. They are pushing through this top lane as the boss has reached the core at this point. All 5 members still healthy. Morales keeping everybody very, very well healed here.
Probably just getting
and that is going to be it. Reborn Knights pushed all the way back in here. They are going to be able to pick off Morales there, but it's too little too late. volumeZERO taking game 3 here on Tomb of the Spider Queen and the series.
Yep, they definitely proved their salt after the first game where they just kind of lost to a pick.
Right, it all came down to that one pick there. But yeah, it's like I said, they keep building comps that are very difficult to pull off here, the Reborn Knights. They probably got to lead with the Wailing Arrow. They've got to follow it up with the Twilight Dream. And if you can get a solid period there where the enemy team can't cast anything, you might have a chance at winning those. Kind of like if you perfectly sync up the Sanctification with the Bloodlust, you might be able to pull off those team fights. But it requires pinpoint coordination on that, and if you mess it up just a little bit, if you have those 2 ults going on top of each other, you lose a lot of what makes your team fight valuable.
Yeah, just a little bit too difficult of an execution, I think, is the biggest problem. I think most pro teams are trying to pull off that comp too often.
Yeah, because there's just so many little things that can go wrong, and that situation up at the top of the boss, Crafty Devil had to go in so much further than the rest of his team to be able to get on that point in time. Had Malfurion been able to go in anywhere close to him, he could have gotten the cleanse. He could have maybe been able to get through the expulsion zone and the zoning tools up there to be able to get on the point and stay on the point. But even then, it's just so hard to rotate into a team in that situation when they've got so much sustain, so many zoning tools, so much CC, and
so much more damage.
Yeah. which is surprising because you got a Morales and a Tassadar, but nowadays you look at Tassadar and he's putting out solid damage numbers. You know, you look at just the hero damage numbers, 18k, which is pretty respectable considering that this was a Vala carry comp that did 38k. But, you know, Tassadar is throwing damage into the pool. That's what really matters with that Archon. And, you know, this was a short game, Ice Fox. You know, you take Tassadar level 20, when he's got that Archon constantly going, his numbers are going to skyrocket.
Yeah, absolutely. They ended that one really quick, though, even though their comp was pretty good late game as well. But they just played their game, played the easier composition to pull off, and just did exactly what they needed to. They never really overstayed too often, and they did not feed early game.
All right, guys. Well, that is going to do it for us tonight. Thank you very much for joining us late into the night. Congratulations to the side of volumeZERO, picking up a big win. Also, big thanks to Reborn Knights for coming out tonight. They put on a great show. They had a lot of cool moments in these matches and got that first victory on that first map. So they have a lot to move on with next week. We'll be back next week with more Chair League casting. If you guys enjoy Chair League, you enjoy Heroes of the Storm, go ahead and hit that like button. You can also check out my YouTube channel where we've got a lot of new highlight reel videos, including the Chair League highlight reel that we're going to be posting up every week. If you guys are interested in getting on that Chair League highlight reel, if you guys feel like you pulled off a big move yourself and you'd like to show it off, feel free to whisper it to me on Chair League. Send me a message. Whatever you guys got to do to get that to me. And as always, thank you guys for joining us. Ice Fox, thanks for coming on and casting with me tonight. It was a lot of fun. Do you have anything
really
before we sign
it.
off?
Thanks for Jay having me here. Totally willing to do it again next week if he wants.
For sure.
It was really enjoyable though, and thanks for having me.
Yeah, absolutely. Anytime, buddy. It was a pleasure casting with you. And we will, like I said, we'll be back next week with more Chair League. And have a good night, guys.